I'm Nick Meyer, welcome to Pocket News for Monday the 19th of September. Today on the show, Steam slaughtering grounds, a gorilla will rise, and esports. They happen to have happened. Alright, here's what's been making headlines over the weekend. And first up, Valve has had enough of indie developer Digital Homicide. The developers of first-person shooter The Slaughtering Grounds have had their entire library of games removed from Steam after one of the studio's founders filed a lawsuit against Steam users. James Romine, who founded Digital Homicide with his brother Robert, is seeking $18 million in damages from 100 users. In a statement to Tech Raptor, Valve's Doug Lombardi said, quote, Valve has stopped doing business with Digital Homicide for being hostile to Steam customers. All games that Digital Homicide and their affiliated studios have released, failed to get offline, or had in the Steam Greenlight program have been removed, eradicated, lost in time, like tears in rain. It goes to show, you go after Gaben's revenue stream, oh, you better believe he's gonna do something about it, because he wants more money. Fathers. This came to light when YouTuber Sid Alpha shared court documents filed in Arizona which show that Romine has accused 100 Steam users for personal injury claims arising from online comments posted by the defendants. The documents shared show screenshots of comments posted on their games including death threats and homophobic slurs. Due to the way Steam accounts are managed, it's impossible for Digital Homicide to identify who owns the harassing accounts. As a result, the suit basically reads Romine versus Anonymous. Do we even know who is this anonymous person or website? Romine has subpoenaed Valve to release the relevant information on all 100 users involved in the lawsuit. However, Valve removed Digital Homicide's games after this subpoena was put forward, which has prompted even more aggressive tactics from the developers. A statement on Digital Homicide's official page reveals they are now seeking legal representation to take on Valve for, quote, breach of contracts, interference with business, and antitrust issues. I mean, at this point, they're not just biting the hand that feeds them, they've worked their way all the way up to the elbow. They have Gabe's entire forearm just crammed down their throats. And I mean, I understand that it sucks for them because we're probably never going to see another Digital Homicide game on Steam again, despite the fact that they're just trying to protect themselves. It's just, they're a little litigation happy. Just as a reminder, these are the same Romine brothers who earlier this year filed a lawsuit against video game critic Jim Sterling asking for 10, then $15 million in damages after he posted an unfavorable video critique allegedly encouraging his fans to post negative or abusive reviews and comments. That case is still open, but 3 lawsuits, it's just too much. Moving on, and Hideo Kojima hosted a Q&A at Tokyo Game Show where he kind of maybe revealed a release date for Death Stranding. Of course, Kojima has never done anything coherent in his entire working career, so instead of just saying a date, the man delivered the following cryptic clues. He started by saying, quote, it will be out before the Olympics. Presumably referring to the Tokyo 2020 games and not the Mars 2124 games, but the riddle continued. To go a little further, there is a movie called Akira, and it will be out before the year in which Akira is set, which was 2019, meaning that the game will be out at some point in 2018, which is impressive considering it's 2016 and Kojima only just decided what engine he wanted to build the game on. Look, mate, riddles don't belong in announcements, and apparently zombies don't belong in Metal Gear. Another question that Kojima tackled was about Konami's upcoming zombie wave mode shooter, Metal Gear Survive. Kojima scoffed at the idea of undead, saying, quote, the Metal Gear games are about political fiction and espionage. Where do zombies fit with that? And it gets better. If I had worked on that game, it would have had mechs in it. Yeah, or vampires, or ghosts, or a lady who only breathes through her skin, or zombie-like parasite soldiers. Or thing of the day. Probably not though. Hey!
I'm a scat man, scat man, scat man, scat man.
Developer Otaku Gang has created a new fighting game to honor a fallen hero. Harambe vs. Capcom is an actual game with 21 fighters, including the martyred gorilla. With a campaign styled like Street Fighter, the game follows Harambe's journey towards uncovering the motives behind his assassination attempt. by Rad, who's going to take us through this weekend's esports results.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. What happened?
So we have CSGO, DreamHack Bucharest.
Yep.
Virtus Pro versus Cloud9. Virtus Pro won. Like, that's all there is to it. They're just the better team. They won 2-0. They didn't, like, absolutely dominate Smash, but they just consistently played better, and good on them.
Was it like
Good on 'em.
Was it like no surprises?
No surprises.
Yeah.
And also, C9 picked Train for the first map, which is VP's best map, so, you know.
But why?
I guess it's like you have to be confident enough in your own good maps to think I can beat them, you know?
So they're
it's
like, we're good at Train.
Yeah.
They're a little better at Train, but I reckon we
but
could
like,
take them on Train.
yeah, it's like Train is our best map, so we have to play it, but VP are just like, lol.
VP just ran a Train.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean that's how CS:GO goes.
Yeah. Counter terrorists and terrorists. What a time to be alive. Also Hearthstone.
Yes. Now we're talking.
Yep. So
Although I didn't actually watch this one, so no spoilers. Moving on. No, who won?
Hot Meowth.
Yeah, I know. We really need to fix people's esports names.
I just love that it's like not just a Meowth, it's a Hot Meowth. But it was Hot Meowth versus Tari. Hot Meowth won 4-3.
Yeah.
It was a Yogg Druid versus Yogg Druid for the final match, and just RNG gods.
I mean, it's interesting at the moment in the Hearthstone scene that there's so much talk about Yogg right now, and you know, RNG in general. Raynad put out a really interesting video about this over the weekend, which Sam will put in the description below. But did you watch the Firebat tournament last weekend?
No, I haven't caught up on that yet. I've read about it, but I haven't seen anything yet.
Because I feel like that's what's interesting about this. Firebat's a professional player. He ran a tournament called Batstone where they banned out a bunch of like these cards that the community hates.
Yeah.
And it was actually this really interesting tournament.
Yeah.
And it raised a lot of questions. And then you have the Hearthstone Summer American Championship.
like
and
the
then it's
big
like, yeah, the huge one. And then the number one ban card from that Batstone tournament is the one that like won in the finals.
Yeah,
so
it's mental.
that Raynad video I was talking about counterplay, and the idea is that random stuff is good if you can actually play around it, and that the random that is bad is when it's actually you have no way of knowing any potential outcome. If it's like all cards are on the board and anything could happen, then that's like you can't play around.
Yeah.
Interesting choices.
Interesting! Overwatch
That's
is
the last
also
one?
interesting.
Yeah.
Overwatch is the last one. The European qualifiers for the World Cup happened.
At BlizzCon, it's happening at BlizzCon?
Yeah, so it qualifies European teams for BlizzCon, which is happening in November, and that's going to be big. It's going to be big. So there was Germany, Finland, France, Sweden, Russia, and Spain.
When you rattled off all those countries, you're saying that these countries are all going to be invited to the BlizzCon tournament?
No, they qualify for the BlizzCon tournament.
Right.
Yeah, so they played and they qualified.
Right.
And so there's a bunch of others that have been invited for that final BlizzCon.
Interesting. And then I assume there's a bunch of shitty European countries who didn't make it through this qualifier, like Latvia or something. If there is anyone from Latvia watching, come at me.
Don't come at me, I love you, Latvia.
Really? Where is it?
Up.
All right. Well, that's all the esports that happened this weekend?
Yeah, that's it.
Good to know. John's going to throw up a map of Latvia right now to just cover while we get to the end of the program. All right, that's it for Pocket News. My Pocketeers this afternoon on our YouTube channel. Make sure you check out This Week in Games, which of course is where we look at This Week in Games. And also tomorrow night, Good Game is on, so don't forget to watch that.
7:30.
It's an hour-long celebration of 10 years of Good Game with me and some other people you might recognize. It's on at 7:30 p.m. ABC2.
I was there too.
Yeah, she was there too, but mainly I was there.
I'm mainly me.
So write that down, 7:30 p.m., not 8:30. 7:30, not 8:30, ABC2, same channel.
We'll tweet it out as well.
Yeah, we'll probably tweet it out. If you want someone to watch that with, then join the Pocketeers Facebook group and Steam group. A lot of those Pocketeers are actually there, and they will watch themselves at 7:30 p.m. on ABC2. There are links to everything I just said in the description below. Today's Thing of the Day graphic was made by James Clumps, if you've made a thing like the old Clumps, who was there on the live recording, and Clumps will see himself maybe in the audience at 7:30 p.m. on ABC2. If you've made a thing, please send it in. Until next time we assemble the Pocketeers. Nick, bye.
Rat out.
7:30 p.m.
7:30.
I know the idea is to be immersive and feel as though you are the character and people are talking to you. But you know what? My mum says I'm a character, and I speak. I speak all the friggin' time, so when Alex asks Gordon how he is and he just stands there and says nothing like John when I ask him to say anything on camera, it's just rude. Also, I never played Morrowind, much to Pete's horror. Moving on, and Eden is up next.